Hi guys, good afternoon. Um, Welcome to 3AI. So this is an esteemed panelist, guest, and vibrant community of AI professionals and aspirants of 3AI. It's truly a privilege to open today's discussion at 3AI, the largest and most distinguished global forum of AI and analyst fields, with representation of over 910 enterprises spanning globally across all the consulting firms, technology providers, cloud platforms, and startups. TAI bring together more than 1,100 leaders from across 32 different countries to drive AI and analytics innovations. Our community of over 38,000 members, including the C-suite executives, AIs and analytics heads, CDOs, CIOs, and CMOs, is constantly working to shape the global AI landscape through collaboration, knowledge sharing, and leadership. By partnering with more than 140 enterprises, 3AI provides opportunities for talented outreaches and access valuable resources such as 4,000 plus hours of video content to 3AI, and along with in-depth articles, case studies, and white paper through AI articles, Atlas libraries. Today, we are together to discuss the timely and important topic of overcoming limitations in generative AI adoption. As we enter a new era of AI, we must not only celebrate the immense possibilities generative AI offers, but also address the challenges that accompany it. Generative AI is already transforming industries from automating content creation, enhancing customer experience to revolutionize healthcare and finance. However, its adoption is not without hurdles, whether it's area of data privacy, ethical concerns, talent gaps, or integration challenges. So, this is why today our panel is so crucial. Together, we explore practical solutions, share insight, and discuss how we can collectively access the adoption of the generative AI in a way that empowers business, uplifts professionals, and maintains the highest ethical and security standards. So, I'm eager to hear from our panelists and industry experts, each of whom brings a wealth of experience, unique perspectives. So, I encourage all of you to engage fully and ask questions and ensure that we live today with not just answers, but a shared vision to the future. Thank you, and I look forward to valuable insights we uncover today. So, to start the session, I would like you guys to introduce yourself about a quick minute. So, you want to start, Ashwin?
I'm sorry, I think I lost a little bit of network. Can you repeat yourself?
I would like to ask to introduce about yourself in a quick minute so that everyone knows.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for the invite, firstly speaking. It's a great honor and a great opportunity to be a part of this circle, to be a part of this forum. It is, and I'm definitely looking forward for all the conversations that we all are going to have. My name is Ashwin Tambe. I do work as a delivery manager in Google. My responsibility in Google is for increasing cloud consumptions, working with the customers, and specifically in the area of AI and generative AI and the adoption of these models using different platforms or different business use cases, and also ensuring those business use cases actually transform to operational workflows as we go forward. So that is a little bit about me, and I'm very curious to understand everything about everybody here.
Debashish, you want to go next?
Yeah, I can go next. Yes, first of all, thanks for putting me in this 3AI leadership circle. I think this is a very great forum and to share our thoughts and to learn from each leader. And thanks for that. So I am a data science senior manager in Albertsons, and I lead the experimentation team in Albertsons, and have been in this industry close to around 16 years. That is my background. Thank you, everyone.
Piyush, you want to go next?
Hi, this is Piyush Ranjan. Thanks for inviting me. It's a really great opportunity to collaborate each other and learn something new. I'm working as a AVP in the finance firm in USA, and I involve in few other volunteer activity as well. I work as an independent researcher as well. Uh, I'm working in the GNI side and the multi-models approach to solve the problem with the multi-agents. And I'm an author of one of the book, and as well as doing publish few of the research article as well. That's it, the short description.
All right. Nice to know about you, Billy. So, okay, I would like to, proceed with a few roundtable discussion about Gen AI. So I would like to start asking questions. Like today, what are the potential legal implications of deploying Gen AI, particularly in industries with stringent regulatory requirements, and how organizations proactively address these challenges? What do you think about it?
So I want to start first with the mainly ethic challenge with the Gen AI, like bias and fairness, transparency and explainability, privacy concern, all those things. And while discussing this, I have a thought on that earlier era, uh, the author and any humans being supposed to write their own, and then they supposed to give some printing press in order to print that any material. But after this Gen AI concept and AI concept, now printing press itself is able to print without any human intervention. So that's kind of alarming for us. I mean, uh, based on their thoughts, they can print, as well as the content which is a bit biased. Let's say if anybody search boys in a boys picture of a school boys picture of a school versus girls picture of a school, then it will show more picture of the girls instead of boys. So the contents bias is also there. So these are the couple of things for that. Now I'm coming to the point of this legal implication of deploying Gen AI basically. So uh, there is certainly deploying Gen AI in industries with strict regulation can lead to several legal concern. Once major issue in the data privacy, as these AI systems often need a lot of data, which can risk exposing personal information of not handled properly. So our nation need to comply with the data protection laws like GDPR to avoid legal problems. Additionally, there are challenges around who owns the content created by AI. So as existing laws might not clearly address these concerns. So to address these challenges proactively, our nation should create a strong compliance plans that align with the current regulation. This involves conducting risk assessment and settling up data management policies to protect sensitive information. It's also important to work with the legal expert to navigate the complex regulation and ensure that AI meets industry standards. So promoting transparency, ethical AI practice can create the trust and reduce potential legal risk. So by taking these steps, organization can effectively leverage Gen AI while minimizing the legal challenges. So this is my thoughts on this.
Okay. Okay. Good. Nice. Good to know. It's a good information for you. Thank you so much. And um, Ashwin, do you want?
Yeah, I actually wanted to, so interesting points, right? All great points. I think transparency, data integrity are absolutely important. What are your thoughts though, since you mentioned about addressing some of these challenges? I think one of the important things is how could you kind of evaluate and mitigate environmental impacts that come with this, right? Because these models are large scale. They take up a lot of energy, they take up a lot of consumption. So in the context of, say, sustainability of large scale initiatives, what are your thoughts? How would you kind of address to that? Anything that you've experienced?
So that's a really good question. I mean, it's definitely environmentally, it's affecting a lot. So basically, if we talk in terms of energy use, so training a LLM model, it's kind of a you're running 30 cars engine for a year or so. It's that kind of carbon we are emissions in that whole process. So energy use, it's really alarming for us to how we can mitigate, how we can provide the solution for that. And we have to track as well that how much emission one of each of the LLM models, what are the tracking, we have to implement some sort of tracking mechanism that we can get to know that which LLM is more efficient, it's emitting less carbon in that. So it can estimate and we can have a detailed analysis set. And there's a multiple way I was thinking to reduce that environment, like using less energy. So instead of creating the whole LLM from scratch, anybody can use the existing LLM and they fine tune them and then they can use that. That may be the one idea. Other is can be, we can focus more on the green energy solution, which company they are using the renewable energy like wind, solar. So we can use those energy instead of rely on the unnatural energy. And we can have a kind of reuse and more optimum resources on that. And basically engage with the public and business to increase awareness that commitment to sustainability in AI. So basically reducing the environmental impact of generative AI involves understanding how much energy these models use and adopting strategies in minimize this usage basically. So by doing so, we can harness the power of AI while also protecting our planet for future generation.
Okay. Very well said. I think very futuristic. So shifting focus, pivot to a little bit more from this world is there, right? I mean, we have to take into account the challenges, we have to take into account sustainability. But as we are adopting this AI, shifting focus just a little bit to the consumption and the business side itself. So any thoughts on how you could actually ensure, right, that the Gen AI models are more integrated well into our business workflows and they don't really disrupt your day-to-day operations? Because you have a set pattern of working of ABC steps. Now you're dealing with a brand new technology. How do you kind of blend it to? Any thoughts on how we could do that? Debashish, maybe?
Sorry, I was looking for my system. Yeah, I think for I was taking notes when you were talking. Yeah, so I think first approach would be a gradual implementation of the process, and then I think another most important step would be first understand the business requirement. So I'll talk more on in terms of as I work on a grocery e-com business, right? So I would say like understanding what are the pain points. Like we have supply chain, inventory management, customer point of sale, right? How that can be seamless. So understanding basic pain point and what we are trying to solve. So if we can understand that first and then start what could be our approach, what is the legacy approach is available first, and then look at Gen AI approach, right? How we can seamlessly adopt it, right, without disturbing the current status. So that is one step. Then understanding how we will implement gradually, like how we will move away from our legacy approach and how we will get our LLM model in place, how we will scale it. So that is one approach I feel is important. Another important thing I think is like in any industries, like change management, right? Each industry has to be or the people who are involved in implementation of Gen AI should be ready for the change. It should start from all organization, all parts of the organization in the business, right? It's not just the data science team or the IT team leading it, right? Or the ML team, the ML ops team leading it. Could be your marketing team, right? They have to understand how they will consume this output of the models, right? And how they will take the meaningful information out of it and then pass it on into their processes so that they can, like, let's say from industry point of view, I'll say drive loyalty, right? Reduce churn in grocery industry. Like they want the customer to be sticky, right? They don't want that they should leave the process. Albertsons would like people to shop, right? Don't go away from our business, right? So That is one thing. I think getting people agreeing for the change management, wherein all parts of the business, like as I mentioned, marketing, and even I'll say to an extent, HR, right? Some of the thing has also to go through them, right? And because it is ultimately the people who will be using it, right? Some people will be hesitant in using it, right? They think that these processes are going to replace them, but we have to make them understand it's not process replacement. Like a chatbot, we are building a chatbot in our app. Let's say it's not a process replacement, but it is enhancement, right? You are trying to solve the day-to-day mundane problem, but the bigger task will be done by you, the person who is actually a domain expert, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Got it. Thanks for sharing your insight on the everything, and this is very valuable. And I would also like to elaborate a little more on what are the best practices for scaling Gen AI solutions. Like you have elaborated a lot about implementing projects on which could be help to the human resources and add on more value. So I would like to ask, what are the best practices that you have been implementing for scaling up Gen AI solutions for the pilot projects or to a full scale production within an organization?
Thank you, Balwa, for the question. I think so. One important step here for implementation would be like, as you mentioned, understanding the pilot, building a pilot project objective, right? And understanding the key KPI. What would be your success metrics in it? Like if I say from an digital experimentation point of view, let's say, what is your success metrics in terms of conversion rate? Let's say click-through rate. Are you going to get more clicks through it? Are you getting more conversion through it? Are people who are coming to our app are getting to go through the or they're completing the basket, let's say, right? That should be a success criteria set. Based on that, you create your objective around it, and then I say like for Gen AI, it would be continuous building and continuous implementation. Like you have to build a ML like a CI/CD platform, right, where you are
Right.
continuously training your model, and it is also implemented in the cloud space, right? Because let's say if I make a case of product pricing, right, you are suggesting what price point the product should sell, but the model has to be updated in a regular cadence, right? Because let's say Black Friday, new products coming in, new prices across the industry are being placed. That the model should learn automatically and then train itself, and this has to be done seamlessly without disturbing the current things. So it has to be in a CI/CD platform, and I feel like it has to be more robust, right?
Right.
And it has to be real time, absorb data real time, and then it can handle the infrastructure, right? Your infrastructure should be robust enough to handle those real time data collaboration. So I
Correct.
think that is important things I think we should be doing right. Yeah, and all, as Piyush mentioned, I think ethics and is a bigger consideration, because I have seen, like we all have seen, like when LLM model hallucinates and they try to give different results, and even biasness, right?
Right.
Sometimes this biasness has to be treated, so we have to place different algorithms how we can handle those biases, right? Is it kind of testing or RAG models, what you are bringing in, right? And what data has to be shared. I think Piyush touched more. I'll not repeat it. Piyush touched most of his point, and
Right.
Ashwin also did the same. So yeah, I think ethical consideration is also biggest step while you are scaling and implementing.
And in addition to that, I would also like to add one point, saying, let's say we have built a chatbot or anything for that matter, right, which helps giving a response to the user. Based on our, trained LMS, let's say a certain response comes in, but if you ask a follow-up question, the system has to have a proper knowledge of, the insight of what the question is and the sentimental value of like why the user is asking. That's where the neuro symbolic AI comes into place, which is gaining a lot of traction and which is gaining a lot of attention to the marketplace in the industry right now. So that is one other interesting topic to be spot on. And anyway, coming back to the forum. So I would these are all the interesting topics that for implementation. But I would like to know from a leadership point of view, right? Like what roles does a leadership play in driving the adoption of the Gen AI, within an organization, and how the leadership effectively champion the AI initiatives? Because that drives the major initiatives. Like even though like we have a technology experts who wanted to dive in and do the best stuff that is possible, but without the a proper leadership implementation, it can never be possible. So I would let Ashwin to give your views on this.
Sure, absolutely. I think one, as Devashish alluded to this a little bit, which is change management, right? I think change needs to come in organically, but oftentimes industry does depend and the influence comes top down. Whenever something new is spiking on the horizon, the influence of top down is to start the conversations, to start the interest, to start the pattern of adoption is very important. But then it needs to kind of percolate horizontally, not just bottom down. As it percolates from the top of the tree to the roots, it needs to go across the branches to different departments. Different thought leaders need to be built and influenced in that process. I think that is the first most important significant step that is required, because change comes with three factors: people, process, and technology. So people need to be influenced, processes need to be adapted, and technology needs to be used. And when we do a combination of all these three, it results in augmentation of human capability. At the end of it, I want to go a little philosophical. We are made by some superpower or super force. So this technology that we are building is that is coming together and we are consuming is built by us. So at the end of it, you have to embrace it, that it is not something coming from a alienated area. It is something which is being born here. We need to embrace it. And then the other factors, the question also says that how do leaders really influence? I think in my perspective, and I can speak for myself and few others that I know, you need to be self-involved in this. Direction can only go so much. Strategy will be completely executed if you are actually playing the game yourself. You cannot sit on the bench and direct a player to score a run or hit a ball outside the park. The leader needs to be a part of the team, may not necessarily doing hands-on activity, but needs to embrace the changes that are coming, because he and the others also are going to get impacted by what he preaches, he or she. So I think that is a very, very critical part, not today, but even because we are just about to start walking with this technology. This is something which came 18 months by. We are still at the walking stage. The running stage is where everybody is going to be super involved. So we better start doing that now. And I think all of us here, irrespective of where we are all thought leaders and we are all leaders of influence and change. So
that's right.
That is my thought.
Always a vision, will help us to drive the developments forward. And the future always lies in the vision that we see and the adaptiveness of the new things that we take. So, yeah.
So since we talked about leadership, one interesting thing always comes to my mind, right? You have the corporate world, which is very structured, which has processes, norms, regulations, and everything is laid out. But then you have, I wouldn't say a parallel industry, but I would say entrepreneurs or the new entrants into the corporate era. Because an entrepreneur company starts its journey from absolutely zero or below ground zero. And then the entrepreneur company or the initiative becomes bigger and eventually becomes a corporate magnet. Right. But in the journey, there are a lot of companies which are springing up right now. The question that I always get quizzed with, or it is an answer that I seek, is how do these companies, one, go on this journey of a massive disruption that is happening? And are there any challenges for such players?
For
And
sure.
how do you deal with it?
For sure. Okay. So I see there is a lot of challenges and enthusiasm due to the ability it drives innovation and streamlining the process and unlocking the new business models, right? Entrepreneurs are always leveraging the generative AI across the industries, whether being its automated content creation, enhancing customer experience, or optimizing product design, or developing the new AI-driven decision-making tools with LLMs and neurosympathetic AI and all of it, right? One thing that always entrepreneurs should keep in mind is like sustaining the generative AI disruption. So for that, one of the key, a few of the key factors are continuous innovation, where entrepreneurs must always stay agile and adapt to the rapidly evolving AI landscape. This means like constantly refining the AI models, integrating new AI techniques, and staying ahead of the competitors. That's one of the key factors. Like in today's world, like there are a lot of new companies, a lot of new AI tools are coming up, but staying ahead of the curve with integrating new techniques are really important. And personalization and customization to the needs of the customers. Generative AI allows business to offer highly tailored products and services, but entrepreneurs should use this advantage to differentiate the offerings and create more value for their customers, like Debshis has mentioned, right? So it should create the solution should create a more value to the customers and add a more ROI, return of investments to the business, and the stability to sustain disruption. Right, business needs to scale a solution effectively, where entrepreneurs must invest in robust infrastructure, platforms, and their AI systems where we could handle increased demands as their business grows, but always keeping in mind, the sustaining the environment is also a key factor, which Piyush has mentioned. We are causing a lot of environmental damage, so which we have to factor in, where reusing the renewable resources will factor a lot of change. And the challenges that I wanted to highlight are like, in today's world, data privacy and security is one of the key factors that everyone should be aware of. Like, generative AI relies on large data sets, which can raise a concern about the data security and the privacy. So needing to implement a strict data governance and practice to ensure that compliance with global regulations like, GDPR and CCPA would always be one of the top priorities, should always be a top priority. And as Piyush has mentioned, bias and ethical concerns are one other challenges the entrepreneurs face. AI models can sometimes replicate and bias present in the training data, leading to unfair and biased outcomes, but must prioritize ethical AI practices. And next would be the talent shortage, because like, this AI implementation and adoption has been recently started. There is a huge gap in demand for AI experts and data scientists and machine learning engineers. So finding a right talent is also one of the biggest challenge that people are facing, or entrepreneurs are facing right now. And fourth would be integrating with the existing systems, like incorporating the generative AI into the existing business or the legacy operations, which is one of the more complex and challenging situations that all people will face, or for that matter, any industry which wanted to adopt a Gen AI will be facing. And the fifth and the most important point is the cost and resource management. So, like you said, Ashwin, there are, leaders always focus on the vision. Vision always drives a lot of good initiatives and the development of the company. but it always incurred with the cost that we are putting in. For example, implementation of any POCs or any pilot programs, which Debashish has mentioned. Leaders always have to see the cost involved with it and how much of the resource management is involved. So we all come up circulating to the breakdown of this. So balancing their investments in AI, which expected returns to ensure the sustainable growth is one of the important factor, I believe. So in short, entrepreneurs are like well positioned to harness the power of the generative AI, but definitely there need to be address these challenges strategically to ensure long-term success is what I believe.
I have one question. Sorry to interrupt. Do you have anything to add, Ashwin?
No. This is good. Thank you.
Go ahead.
So my question is like the pioneers of the industry in generative AI, like say Google, who came up with the Palm models or the Meta of the worlds and OpenAI, right? But I feel some of the new age companies, right, as Bhargav, you were mentioning, right, they have come in and kind of taken it from there and come up with better solutions or better implementation, not in terms not of the model, but taking those model and enhancing it and providing better solution, right? Why? My question is, why do you think that is happening with the legacy company and not? And where is this benefit point for this new age company? What do you think? Why is this the case?
So you're asking why isn't it happening for the legacy company and why is it happening from the new? So
Yeah.
like I already mentioned, the one of the pain point about legacy systems always have they're already successful in one of the component, but where you have answered one of the thing that addressing the pain point of the existing system and enhancing the existing system will always provide a new solution. For example, if you look at the market, if you look at our history, right, where an idea is being copied by another company and enhanced with the latest tools, enhanced with the latest ability, will create a new product and a new solution, right? So in the same way, people are doing it, but legacy systems, it is one. I believe it will be difficult for integration. One, a second would be managing the cost and resource management. Where a third would be always with compliance and the rules. Everything has to be toned down upside. So these all factors would be difficult to change the legacy systems, but creating a new one with the existing backend systems or utilizing whatever possible components or things would makes more sense and drive the innovation forward is what I think. So one of the major investment for all the legacy systems would be upscaling their systems, the infrastructure tools and everything is quite expensive at the time. But you need to know why you are investing and where you are investing and what would be at least the outcome for the investment is what every leader or entrepreneur would be seeing is what I believe.
I think one more thing, if I can just add to what Bhargav said, is I think the pioneer companies that you mentioned, right? They are very focused on, they're very technology centric in terms of model development or origination. But the two aspects of technology is, right? One is origination, the other is application. The companies who are probably taking on application, like the new age companies, I think they have a little bit more, one maybe bandwidth and creative, I would say creative bandwidth, let me put it that way, because everybody is trying to make a mark in the journey, right? So the pioneer companies are more pillared and focused on how can I get the next model? How can I upgrade the current model? How can I increase the training? How can I pre-train a model? How can I post-train a model, right? Or how can I make this model more effective? They are not, but the new age companies are more on the application side, and I think they are making use of these pre and post trained models which are available to them from a business workflow application standpoint. So I think that is where the difference, that could be one of the differences that I see.
Very well.
I would add,
Thank you.
I want to add in top of that one thing, like these are the primer company like Google, Amazon, Microsoft. They have a lot of data and they created the LLM at the first stage. So it's kind of a they have since large set of data. So that's also one of the uh, it's a challenge for the Gen AI ethic. I mean, they can they since they have large data, they have large audience, so they can influence the audience based on the data also. So instead of the small company, the growth company, they don't have that much data. And some sort of country also, like, and the data is also in the mainly is in the English language in respect to the other language. So that's also some of the countries which don't use the English properly. They also may get affect if we don't follow this Gen AI ethics properly.
Okay.
Those interesting points. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was an interesting topic, and so far, this collaboration and discussion of this generative AI is, very insightful. So, I would like to ask one final question, like, for everyone, share their views. Um, so what do you guys think about data strategy in play in the successful adoption of Gen AI, right? What would be the data strategy and how organizations can optimize their data pipeline to feed AI models effectively? So which Piyush has mentioned about data, right? So data consumption and data feeding is one of the important factors for Gen AI. Big companies like Google, Amazon, and other companies who have already mountains of data, it's easy for them to implement or feed their or make a good AI model. But how would from a business or a startup standpoint, how would these factors impact?
So I can start, and then I guess others can add. We touched upon all these factors, right? In some sense, privacy, ethical balances, consumption, cost. I don't want to act cynical, but a model or a generative AI technology or whatnot, I think it can be all commoditized down the line, because like I said, we are in the journey where the baby has just started to walk. Once it starts to run and becomes an oiled machine, the model is going to become a commodity. What is going to be more unique and going to be more revenue and recognizable is the data and the content of data itself. That is the critical factor, because a model is a gun without bullets. And a gun here is the model and the bullets here is the data. So if you need to have very clear data strategy in terms of data unification, data normalization, data privacy, when it comes to personalization of consuming the model to making references and recommendations which are personable, because the world has evolved. Everybody is making very mature, very intelligent decisions in their purchases, whether it becomes grocery or it's a television set or it's a house or anything you feed your child is a very personal decision in today's age. So what is that? At the end of it, any company, Albertsons in this matter, or Best Buy, or in some case, or Home Depot, all these companies, specifically in the US and all across the globe, they are selling you products using the data that they collect from other customers. So it is very important to have very clean data in segmented privately, so you don't expose Ashwin's information to you and your information to a Timothy somewhere, right? So that is the first important thing. The second thing is segmentation of the data based on who you are targeting. That is also important. You don't want to sell a Mercedes to someone who does not even want to buy a cycle. So that is also very key. So data segmentation based on your business priority, I think, is the second most important thing. First is privacy, second is segmentation based on market. And I think the third thing that I feel is you need to have data in a more normalized, unified format. If data becomes very complex to understand, the model is also going to take that much more time to train, and eventually we will pivot the success and failure of our consumption based on, oh, the model could not understand it. But maybe you fed the data that the model does not understand. So I think normalizing data and unification of data is the third important pillar. I see it from that perspective, but I'll open it up.
No, I think that's a great point, Ashwin. And I think to that, like masking of data, as you said, the important factor would also should include, right, like a clean room where you are doing the AI automation and iteration in a robust manner, right? And you are not disrupting other processes when you are implementing your AI models, right? And it should be scalable in the sense that it can handle real-time data, it can handle like biasness in the model, should all be in the place, right? And it should not be like different integration of different services should be all in one place, and should not be disrupting one implementation, should not be disrupting the other processes. So I think that is also very important.
Right. Absolutely.
So far, so good. Very insightful. And by underpins the successful adoption of generative AI, which ensures that high quality, relevant data is available to train or improve AI models. And optimizing data pipelines through automation and real-time processing, proper governance, and continuous monitoring, organizations can effectively feed these AI models, which enables them to deliver more accurate and scalable and the impactful results, I would say. So that being said, like I would like to conclude this session, and so far the takeaway points are really well organized and really well said. And I would really thank you everyone for joining this expert panel session of Connected by the AI Forum. And thank you everyone for taking time, and have a good day.
Thank
you.
you.
You
Thank
guys.
you.